Caterham Roadsports Championship is next in line to entertain us here at Brands Hatch. This is the second rung of the ladder in the Caterham University of Motorsport, and Academy graduate Peter Martin loves this track. In fact, it's his local. We caught up with him to tell us more.
Well, it's very different because it's so short. So in a way, there's less to learn. You know what you're doing. A lot of us, this is our home track, at least for me, because I'm only an hour away. So you know it quite well, so it has some advantages. The only disadvantage is that we're quite a big grid, so you end up mixing it quite a lot. So they're all the tracks are different. But well, that's been one of the joys of it. We've had Cadwell Park, which is like a bike track and really narrow. And then last year we went to Silverstone, which is completely the opposite. So yeah, variety is good. But yeah, Brands is always nice. I like the Indy circuit myself.
Well, Peter, I quite agree with you. It always generates great Caterham racing, as it has done in the first two road sports races of the weekend. The field has been split into three groups. Each driver races twice, so a third of the grid have already completed their two races. The other two-thirds about to head out for their final race now, with Harry Ayre and Carl Jones on row number one together, getting ready for a start. On board with the local man, Peter Martin, hoping for a good result from 6th on the grid. Away they go. Decent start made by Peter Martin. Not a great start from Harry Ayre on pole position, though. So Carl Jones will have the lead going into Paddock Hill Bend. And in fact, Alex Conway pulls alongside the pole sitter Harry Ayre to challenge for second, but can't do it. Dropped down through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Single four file for the top half dozen or so. It's Jonesy, though, who is out in front as they hit the brakes into Druids, and a bit of contact made further back. That was Paul Herndon getting served from behind going into the braking zone, but I think he survived with maybe a little cosmetic damage, but nothing more sinister. Down through Graham Hill Bend then for the first time. And Peter Wales there, the 152 car, making a move on the inside. Jones leads the way then, second for Ayre, third for Conway. Diving up the inside is the 188 car, and William Brunt to try and hang on to 5th place. Actually, he started 5th, but I think he might have dropped down the order a bit at the start. So too has Peter Martin. The local man's lost one position, started 6th. It looks like he's 7th as they come through to the completion of lap number 1 and head towards Paddock Hill Bend again. He's in the slipstream trying to attack, but I don't think he's quite close enough to the car in front. Harry Ayre is close enough to Carl Jones, though, to force Carl to go very late on the brakes into Paddock. The race leader runs out wide over the curb, and I think will just about hang on, but Harry Ayre signalling his intent so far. Harry, in his first race of the weekend, finished in 3rd position, whilst Carl Jones also finished in 3rd in his opening race, which was earlier on today. So they both are looking to try and get their best results of the weekend so far. As Peter Martin heads down through Graham Hill Bend, runs a bit wide over the curbs. Careful not to do that too often, otherwise you will get pinged for track limits. And if you are exceeding them too often, you will be given a time penalty at the end of the race. Through clearways then, the leading 5 cars, let's call that together. And what a great start it's been for the 133 of Darrell Cresswell. Started 7th, up into 4th place already, and challenging the front runners as they head towards Paddock Hill Bend once again. Carl Jones tries the same move he tried a lap ago. Pulls to the, Harry Ayre, pulls to the outside of Carl Jones, and, Alex Conway tries to make it 3 wide, backs out of it in the end. Through the right-hander they go. Midfield battles come through, and sideways for Paul Herndon, who gets collected by 1 car, 2 cars. Significant contact. Duncan Cook arrives on the scene in the 113 with nowhere to go. There are 3, maybe 4 cars stranded at the side of the road, and that is not what we like to see. A move made there for 3rd place. That is what we like to see, though. Darrell Cresswell going past Alex Conway into Graham Hill Bend, but I wonder whether we may see a safety car as a result of that fairly sizable shunt at Paddock Hill Bend. It's a popular enough place to have an accident at Brands Hatch, especially if you've got friends willing to join you in the gravel trap, and that definitely was what we saw there. Early in the race, everyone bunched together. When one car loses control, there is nowhere for the rest to go, and in fact it's not a safety car, it is a red flag that is thrown, so the marshals can work on recovering those cars. There's the replay look. Herndon loses control, gets collected, and then significant contact for Duncan Cook, who arrives on the scene with no chance of avoidance. Well, the red light is on. We're about to get the race restarted over a short distance now. Away they go, and it's a good start from pole position this time around for Carl Jones, who of course started on the outside of row 1 initially. From the inside of row 1 he gets a similarly good start. Into 3rd place goes Darrell Cresswell. He got 3rd place just before the red flag, but I think he had to restart 4th because the results do go back a lap. Side by side for the race lead, and Harry Ayre wasting no time at all to get back ahead of Carl Jones. He's back into 1st position as they go round Druids for the first time. Down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend again, and it's almost as if we never had that red flag break because they've continued racing just as aggressively as they were earlier on. But Carl Jones doesn't seem to be able to find his rhythm as easily this time, does he? He's lost the lead, and now he's under pressure for second place. Again, action replay of what we saw on the opening lap of the initial start of the race. William Brunt on the inside trying to defend a position into Surtees. Slightly depleted grid here though. Remember, they've been sharing the grid actually with the 270Rs thus far this weekend. For this third and final race of the weekend, they get the track to themselves, and still they are intent on filling that track. 3 wide into Paddock Hill Bend there. That doesn't often work, and William Brunt is the one losing out there. Loses a position or two into Paddock. Lots of cement dust there over the curb on the outside of the corner after the clear-up operation. Good job done by the marshals to get the track ready for racing pretty quickly. Michael Curley is ready for racing as well. Goes around the outside of Brunt at Druids. It was always going to run out of road. Oh, and in front of them, an attempted manoeuvre up the inside there for the 156 car. That didn't quite work. David Morgan started 4th at the initial start, but the 156 machine is a lot further back than that now. William Brunt is coming back at him as they go through Surtees. Clearways is a good overtaking opportunity if you're brave, but he was just a bit too far back there, I think. Leading 3, starting to break away with Alex Conway, the lonely man, in 4th position, and then side by side for 5th behind. Carl Jones has regrouped a bit now, having looked a little bit out of sorts at the restart. He is now starting to ask all the right questions of Harry Eyre out in front, but it's the 133 of Darrell Cresswell, who is looking increasingly ominous in 3rd place here. Darrell Cresswell has yet to have a podium in 2020. Could this be his chance to get one? He scored decent points for a top 10 finish in race 1 of the weekend, but nothing much to write home about. And here he is, look, challenging Jonesy into Surtees, but Carl had the inside line covered. Not the ideal line into that very quick left-hander though, so that might compromise him towards Clearways. Sails in on the brakes, carries good speed into the corner, but I wonder if that might scupper his exit speed a little bit. Side-by-side battle here. William Brunt still ticing away here with the 156 of David Morgan, who goes to the outside at Paddock. That's a brave move, but it can actually work because you can sweep round the outside and carry the speed up the hill. Not much sweeping going on there for one car getting sideways behind them. Bounces its way back onto the circuit, and that, I think, was Peter Martin, wasn't it? Yeah, the local man. Clearly hadn't explored that particular bit of Brands Hatch over the years, so decided to go grass tracking. Rejoins the track with no damage though. Leaders then go through Clearways, and we've got more drama at Paddock Hill Bend now. 2 more cars have gone sightseeing. Fraser Riddington is the blue 128 car, who almost got buried in the gravel, and he lost it and was collected, wasn't he, by... Not quite sure who that was. Paul Herndon, I think it was, wasn't it? 164, who has been collected and gone for a spin. Paddock Hill Bend has been a real trouble spot so far in this race. Let's hope we can get to the checkered flag without anyone else having a moment at that corner. Such a difficult part of the circuit though. That's where the leaders are headed now, and here comes the attack for Darrell Cresswell up the inside of Carl Jones for 2nd place. Too far back. Jones has shown already in this race that he's very good on the brakes. Alex Conway has caught back up to them again now as well in 4th place. Look, Jones almost left a gap on the inside at Druids. And actually, Cresswell, in backing out of that move, loses momentum and invites Alex Conway to come right round the outside at Druids. That gets him the inside line for Graham Hill Bend, but he doesn't manage to go through with it in the end. Cresswell carries good speed through the corner and holds on to that 3rd position. All of this happening behind Harry Eyre, who is leading the way through Surtees once again into the closing stages of the race now. And it looks as though Harry Eyre might be on course for the race victory, his first of the year, despite having had 4 podiums already this season. 128 car there with dirt on its tyres. Fraser Riddington, the leaders come towards the start-finish line once again, and it's side-by-side for 2nd place this time because Alex Conway has now found a way through ahead of Darrell Cresswell, and now he's trying to get around the outside of Carl Jones. Goes from the outside to the inside. It's the typical Paddock Hill Bend switchback manoeuvre, but it doesn't quite work. Carl Jones has been almost impossible to get past in this race, and again, same situation as what we saw earlier on. The car on the inside ends up getting delayed into Druids, and this time it's Darrell Cresswell who takes advantage of that. Goes around the outside of Conway to sneak back into 3rd place. Great racecraft. Remember, a lot of these drivers are relatively inexperienced, and it's good to see that they are learning their craft every time they head out onto the circuit. These completely road-legal Roadsport caterhams as well are a great value-for-money way of going racing and getting yourself onto the Caterham Motorsport ladder. This is the kind of racing you can be a part of. Look at this, they're going to be 3 wide across the start-finish line. Conway to the outside, Cresswell to the inside, and Carl Jones will be shutting his eyes and hoping for the best. He bails out. Conway doesn't though, sails right around the outside and goes from 4th to 2nd. Phenomenal driving from Alex Conway, and he is into P2 again. Brilliant stuff. Jones tries to get back up the inside of Cresswell. That doesn't work at Druids, or it might do actually. He's got himself up to the right-hand side of the road, but the next corner's a left-hander, so it looks as though Cresswell will hold on to that podium spot. Alex Conway is a man on a mission here into P2. Can he do anything about Harrier? I'm not sure he can. A little bit of debris on the road there for them to deal with as they go down the Cooper Straight. Alex Conway, who I'd almost counted out midway through this race, he was so far back, is going to finish 2nd. He's not quite got time, though, to challenge Harrier, who takes the checkered flag here at Brands Hatch. And Harrier finally has done it. He gets his first win in the championship. Well, joining him up there on the podium, it was a very close affair, wasn't it? 3rd place for Cresswell, 2nd for Conway, but Harrier will be elated with that, his first victory of the season.
It was amazing. After the really bad start I had at the beginning, I thought I was going to struggle to get past Carl, and then the safety car gave me a quick rest. And then with another not great restart, I managed to fight through to 1st and somehow stay in front without them catching me. Nearly broke the toe for a second, and then towards the end Alex nearly caught me, but yeah, amazing race.
Made a move 1 lap too late. I was going to try and gun for Harry, but ran out of time, and was definitely a little bit lucky to get two in one go.
I was running in 3rd for quite a while, and then lost the place to Alex, and thought, oh no, they're pulling away from me. And then Alex and I pincered Carl Jones, I think it was, coming into paddock, and that was back up to 3rd.
Well, that win for Harrier means he's now 2nd place in the points, but 14 points behind Tom Willis, who's had a good weekend here at Brands Hatch. Carl Jones is 3rd, with Wes Payne and Darryl Cresswell inside the top 5.